actually 60 minutes are also very less for a topic as important as stream selection. And I'm assuming that since we have opened this to parents as well as students and educators, there will be a lot of, mixed crowd attending this today. So I'd like to address all your concerns. So students, though we call it the stream selection session, it should actually be called the session where we are going to deal with fear. Because whichever age group I may talk about, like I just said, even if you're a student, you're fearful about which stream to take, whether the subject combination that you're going to make for yourself is safe or not, whether it will lead you to your dream college, your dream courses or not. What if it is not a good decision and tomorrow your parents blame you for the stream that you've taken? Similarly, the parents are also undergoing a lot of fear, thinking that how they can empower you with the correct decisions, what kind of knowledge they can provide to you, how safe is it, to advocate a particular stream, whether you want to do a science, commerce, or humanities. Do they feel this is the right fit for you? So parents have their own dilemma coming in, and then of course the educators who feel that they should, empower you with the right information so you can decide what you should do and what you shouldn't. So with this, I welcome you all, and I am Neha Vahi. I head the counseling here, and I can see that already a lot of questions have started coming in the chat window. My request to you is that the last 10 minutes we will reserve for question and answers, and I will clear all these doubts. But as of now, there will be a common session which will be addressing all streams. So whether your query is more towards CLAT or NEET or JEE, as I can read, we will be talking about streams today. Streams is different from a career session. I understand that the process is the same. When you select your stream, that is when you move on to your career decisions. But as of now, let's take it one step at a time, and let's talk about the most crucial decision streams. And you will understand why I call it the most crucial decision probably by the end of the session. So students, you can keep interacting with me. I would really wish to ask you, a lot of questions here to understand your mindset and where you're coming from. So what I wish to understand here is, students, what is your right reason for selecting streams? There may be a lot of different reasons. When I do open sessions and I can see all of you right in front of me, the largest and the most common answer that has been given to me by students is, ma'am, we want to select stream because this particular stream, because our parents feel that this is the best stream for us. Well, I don't blame this and I don't say this is the wrong answer, but then yes, I feel very happy when I see children say that along with my parents, ma'am, I also feel that this is the best dream for me. And the parents who are listening to me today, I hope they are. We may say that there is no parental pressure and there's no heavy expectation on our children, but trust me, this is the most common answer that I get from an Indian student who says that I am, choosing the stream because of my parent. So please be a part of the decision, and students, please involve your parents in this decision, because it is very important that we are all on the same page, that we know, what our parents want and what they think about us. But at the same time, I want you to be very sensible when you take these decisions. This is a matter of your life. Today, when we talk about stream selection, we're talking about finding somebody who's going to be living with you for the rest of your life. And who is this somebody? Somebody is a subject combination. The subjects that you choose today will turn out to be your career options ahead, which means you are going to be studying these subjects in 11th and 12th. You will be studying these subjects in your graduation, and you will also be studying these subjects in your post-graduation. Ahead, you may even build your careers out of these subjects that you choose. So it becomes very, very important that who you choose is compatible with you and you are equally compatible with them, right? That is why I call it a very crucial decision. Also, one very important message that I would like to give each one of you, and this comes from personal experience. I'm sure students and parents, you will agree with me when I say that a lot of times we make decisions out of fear. There is a lot of fear in our minds, and the decision happens due to that fear. I like to tell you that most of these times, at least in my lives, whenever there has been a decision that has happened due to fear, it has turned out to be a wrong decision. And I'd really like to know your thoughts on this. So please use your chat window and tell me, do you agree with me when I say that, decisions that are taken in fear mostly turn out to be negative decisions? Please help me understand your mind frame, because that will help me counsel you better and take you through the stream selection session better. So please keep interacting. I'd really love to know. So yes, I'm getting answers already which say yes, you feel that decisions made out of fear are bad decisions. So if you are all in agreement with me, it becomes very important that today the first thing that we do on a stream selection session is pick out this fear and throw it out of the window. The only thing that can help us be fearless in life is knowledge. So when you have complete knowledge over something, when you feel that you have complete command over something, the fear automatically starts reducing and ultimately disappears. So what I need you to understand is, once you understand the subjects well, once you understand the subject combination well, you understand the pros and cons of choosing certain streams and certain subjects. Trust me, this fear will reduce and eventually you will be able to take wiser decisions. So students, very, very important that we gain this knowledge today, and there are a lot of mediums to gain this knowledge. It could be sessions like this where we will be talking to you about different combinations. It could be a lot of research that you should be doing at this stage. We also as counselors do a lot of research to guide you, so you should also continue doing a lot of research work in areas that interest you, and maybe even in areas that don't interest you much, because if you don't know about them, they will not interest you, right? So, coming back to my original question, where I said, what is the reason for selecting streams? I have a very interesting. Some people think it's a good decision, but you could have missed a better opportunity. I totally agree with that comment in the chat box. That is exactly why we are doing this session. It is a never-ending process. No matter which stream you choose, which combination you choose, you will always be thinking, could there have been something better? That is exactly why it is important to do this discussion right now. So please understand that ultimately there are only three streams, right? If I bifurcate, of course, then I say PCM and a PCB and a commerce with math or a without math, or a humanities more towards arts or liberal arts, etc. But if I look at it largely, there are ultimately three streams. And when we talk about probably making something like a best of four, which we used to apply to colleges ahead, there are only four subjects that are actually going to make your total. And in these four subjects, there is one mandatory subject, which is English. So sitting here in the year 2020, I know that one subject is mandatorily going to go into my best of four, and that is going to be English. So my question goes back to all of you. Are you treating English seriously? Because as of now, you don't know which other streams or subjects, you're going to choose, but English is going to be with you. And most of us are very happy with an 80 or an 85 in English, and we feel we've done justice to the subject, not realizing that English is now a skill. It is not a language anymore, which means there is a possibility of even scoring something like 100 in English. So are we working hard enough to understand that one good score like a 99 on 100 or a 100 on 100 or a 98 on 100 in English can actually make up for my loss in the other subjects? So whatever you love doing, be it English or be it other subjects, you have to now start looking at it very critically, very with a very analytical viewpoint, and saying that, can this save my best of four? Can it make a good best of four for me? So these are the questions that you're going to be asking yourself. Secondly, students, after parental influence that we've just spoken about, there is something else that I really like to highlight, and which is the siblings back in your house. So, it's a very good thing to have role models. You have elder siblings, you have cousins around you who have taken certain courses and who have done very well, who got into excellent colleges, and they become your role models. You start feeling that you should also do these kind of courses. While it is very, very nice to have role models, my only request to you is, please have a conversation with them to understand what are the number of hours that they put in to get into that college or that institute. What is the score that they scored? How many mocks did they answer? How many number of hours did they sit in the day to prepare for that particular course or college? These are very crucial questions to understand before you blindly follow somebody, or you pick up a stream or a career only because somebody else did it. Okay, this is your car. You are going to be driving it. You will decide your journey, and it should be a very exciting journey, because this is the first time that you have taken the control of the car in your hand. Till now, you as students, you've been on the co-driver seats. Your teachers have been driving the car. Your parents have been driving the car. But this is your opportunity to decide what the journey should be, where you should take a U-turn, where you should stop. Your destination, the speed at which you want to drive, everything is your decision. So it should actually excite you and not scare you. All right. Coming to the third and a very important aspect, especially in the Indian culture, they may be students who are attending this webinar from various cities. So I'm going to quote the Indian culture more than just say Delhi, because I sit out of Delhi. See, students, I will not call it peer pressure. I would rather call it herd mentality. That's a very crude word to use, no offense to anybody. But somewhere we see this herd mentality in children, that everybody is doing this, I should also do this. Today, people are talking about this particular career. I think it's the next big thing. I should also do it. It may be very important to be aware of what is good and what is happening around in the world, but it is extremely important to also understand whether it is a good fit for me or not, right? So herd mentality can be very dangerous. So I would like you to do a little check and introspect and see, why are you choosing this stream? Because of your parent, because of your sibling, because of your friends, or because of yourself? If the answer is yourself, I'm very happy. But if it is not, then this is time to check. Parents, please, help and facilitate your students, your children in these kind of decisions, because it gives them immense confidence to know that their parents are backing them in this decision. A lot of times when we meet children in class 11 and 12 and we ask them, are you happy about the streams you take? We find them very dilemmatic. We find them very sad and very low on energy. They say, ma'am, we are happy with what we're doing, but our parents, our families are not happy. My dad is not happy. So it takes away the pleasure of doing a particular course. So I would really request, uh, being an Indian, I would request that, knowing the Indian mentality of parents, of students around, if we can work as a community to take decisions, as a group, as a team, to take decisions for stream selection, for careers, I think it will be very, very promising. So who should be in this team? The student obviously is the core of the team. The parent should be a part of the team that is deciding the stream. There should be a counselor, whether it is your school counselor or it is an academic counselor or career counselor like us. There should be, your teachers who have taught you, students who know how good or bad or how strong or weak you are in a particular subject. They should be a part of this decision making, to give you enough confidence that this is a good stream for me and I can move ahead. So with this message, if these are the three things that you must consider, there are a couple of questions that I further asked you all. So please start using your chat windows to make it more interactive and not monologue based. I like to understand from all of you, do you think that personality, a student's personality, is important for choosing a stream? Till now, we have spoken about, personality important for choosing careers. But I want to understand, do you think it is important for choosing a stream as well? So I'm going to be waiting for your answers, to handle this better. So I repeat my question. Do you think personality is important to choose your streams as well? Please go ahead. I'm waiting for your answers. I'll give you a moment to answer that. Okay, I'm getting my answers. The yes have started already. So yes, the good part is, that it is very, very important. But the sad part is, when I ask students, I actually get a lot of no, because people say it is very important for choosing the career, but it may not be very important for choosing the stream. See, I'm already getting a no there in the chat window. People have started saying no. So the reason that you're saying no is because you're not linking stream to career. Students, please understand that there needs to be a certain personality for studying a couple of subjects as well. Now, let me explain that to you. See, understand that you come and tell me, ma'am, I am an introvert. I am not very strong in my written or my spoken, English, or my communication or my language. I do not like moving out, talking to new people. I'm very conservative in my approach. But ma'am, the career that I'm thinking for myself is journalism. Now you tell me, isn't this a great personality mismatch? That aren't we lacking all traits that probably fit well for journalism? And if we lack those traits in our personality, the subjects that we are going to take for journalism today, aren't we somewhere going to defy the whole combination? So let's do a backward calculation. There is a very inspiring motivational speaker called Stephen Covey. He really liked the quotes that he has said. He says, let's begin with the end in mind. This is a very important thing. Uh, it's a very important thing. I'm sorry, I'm reading your messages in between, so I take a pause. So for students who are deciding their streams, when you know your end in mind, the backward calculation becomes very easy. For example, I'll again quote journalism because I just took this example. You know you want to be a journalist, then you know that you probably have to do a mass communication. To do a mass communication, my second backward calculation will be, what are the streams that I can use to apply for mass communication? If I understand it is a stream neutral course, then probably I can take up any stream. If I know I'm choosing something which is very specific to a stream, then I know that these are the subjects that I have to take. Now, most of the students also say that, ma'am, right now we don't have that big picture in mind. Here, I like to break you down into three categories. Again, you can use your window to tell me which category you fall into for sure. So there are three categories. As I say, category number one, ma'am, I know what I want to do. I know my career, but I don't know the stream or the subject that I should choose to get to that career. The second category says, ma'am, I know my subjects, I know my stream, but I don't know which career ahead routes out of this stream. And the third category does not know the stream and does not know the career. So there is no sin in being in any category. You make my job easier because this is what I am here for. Because if you don't know is when I can empower you. So you have to please analyze which category do you fall in. If you know your career and you don't know your stream, then you fit into the big picture category where you already know the big picture. It's easy. We will just do a backward calculation to understand what we should do and what we shouldn't do. In this scenario, there are two thumbnails, thumb rules rather, that I'm going to give you. I'm reading your messages. A lot of you say second category, where you say, kindly give me a moment. Like, okay. So, you know your career. Now it's a backward calculation. Like I said, so there are two thumb rules that I'd like to give you here. One is rule of selection. The second is rule of elimination. I'll repeat this: rule of selection and rule of elimination. The rule of selection says that I am going to, select these subjects because I'm very strong with these. I'm going to make my subject combination or my stream as per the subjects that are very strong, and then I will see what careers root out of it. Rule of elimination says, I do not like this subject. I do not like this subject. I cannot do this subject. So this is what I'm left with. I should move ahead with that. It is not going to be very difficult to do if you can chart out all the three streams subject wise on a piece of paper and start doing a rule of selection or a rule of elimination. The picture will appear in front of you. I'd request and urge each student attending this today to please do this after the session to understand what are the subjects that you feel you can handle, what are the subjects you feel that you really enjoy, what are the subjects that you feel you can do lifelong. That is a very relevant question here. And what are subjects that you just cannot do? So the ones that we just cannot do, I would even like you to think, why can't you do them? So suppose you say math. My question will go back to you. Why can't you do mathematics? Is it the application bit that is scary, or is it math that is scary on a whole? So in that case, we may move on to discuss a basic or standard math or applied maths, etc., to understand, what we should do. Okay, I am reading your chats and somebody says, I'm not good at any subject. In case there is a feeling like this, or there is a confusion or, that comes up to this level that you feel there is no subject or no stream that you could, probably feel confident about, that is where the psychometric testing or the aptitude testing will step in. How will the psychometric or the aptitude testing help you? This is a psychometric tool which will assess your personality, which will assess your interest, your aptitude level, your multiple intelligences. We as counselors will be able to read your report and tell you what is a safe bet to take. In that case, towards the end of the session, we will be floating a Google form. In case you feel that you would like to, meet us for a one-to-one counseling or a psychometric test, you could always fill up that form and submit, and our team will get in touch with you. Okay, so moving ahead, we spoke about, personality here, which I said is extremely important. But I'd also like to speak about interest and aptitude, which are very important aspects of stream selection. We have largely been hearing these words from adults around us, but what is this interest and what is this aptitude? I would like you to understand. So students, when I say the word interest, I'm going to take you back about, a decade behind, where there was a very interesting movie that had come, which was called Three Idiots. I'm sure most of you must have seen that movie. So please use your chat boxes again to answer this and tell me that, do you remember the three characters of the movie Three Idiots? Do you remember what were the names of these three characters? I'm not asking you who the heroes or the actors were. I'm asking you, do you remember the names of the characters of the movie Three Idiots? So if you do, you please, drop in through the chat. I can read your messages here. So I want to see that you've seen a movie a couple of years back. Is that fresh in your mind? Do you remember the names? All right. So I've already seen the names have started coming in. All right, so you do remember the characters. Great. So how is it that 10 years back, which is nearly a decade back, or maybe more, there was a movie that was released, and you so clearly remember the names of those people even today? The simple reason is interest, okay? Because years back, yes, I'm reading your messages, Raju, Farhan, Rancho, I'm reading Viraj, I can see that. So basically, what is happening is you were so interested in something that the memory is still fresh today. Now, if I was to ask your students, do you remember what did you read in chemistry or in geography a year back? How many of you will be able to answer this? I'm not very sure. So it is not about a particular subject, but it is about general interest over something. So today that I talk about interest, I'm talking about interest to a level like this, where it is very, very important that you love something so deeply that you find interest in studying it all your life, right? Moving ahead, the third and a very important aspect of stream selection is aptitude. A word you have been hearing for a long time, but you don't know what this word aptitude really means. So if I break it down into very simple layman terms, aptitude is like a chip which is present in my head but probably missing in your head. Why? Because the chip that is in your head is missing in mine, right? So the this is aptitude, which means what you are good at. It is not important I am good at the same thing, and what I may be good at maybe you're not. So we all have our own aptitude, and it comes from something very, very interesting, which is called multiple intelligences. Howard Gardner, a psychologist, has given us this theory. He talks about multiple intelligence and how it builds all of us, which means each one of the students, even the adults who are watching this, have a certain multiple intelligences which build us, a combination of two or three things that make us who we are. So to give you some examples, students, some of you here must be some of yeah, I'm reading your questions. Please go on, don't worry about that. I will be answering all your questions towards the end, right? Okay, so some of you, when the teacher is teaching mathematics, she's writing on the board, she's writing the sum, but you realize that you know the answer even before she's actually completed the whole equation. So you are children who are very, very high on numerical intelligence. Your numbers, your formula usage, your systematic derivation is extremely strong. So for you, you may not be somebody who's just good in maths. You may be very good in subjects like economics. You may be very good in subjects like physics and chemistry, anywhere and everywhere where a number game is involved. Similarly, there may be students who may not enjoy numbers too much, but you're very good with languages and words. You are debaters, you are bloggers, you write articles, you go for elocutions. You're very good in languages, you pick up foreign languages very quickly. English and Hindi is very strong, or your regional languages you are very strong, which means you are a child who is more, who's higher in linguistic intelligence. Your language understanding is higher. You will enjoy subjects like biology, like psychology, like history, geography, pol science. You will enjoy these subjects more than number subjects, okay, because your orientation is that. So students, you have to understand where you're coming from. Then there are more categories also. If you don't fall in numbers and you don't fall in words, you may even fall in categories like music, in sports, in interpersonal intelligence, which is networking. So there are a lot of different kinds of intelligences that you need to discover. So if you're good in musical intelligence, then probably you understand tone or melody or music better than the others. So suppose students, you're good in musical intelligence and you're very good in numerical intelligence. What do you think you can do as career opportunities? So this is how intelligence becomes very important, because we can club it to make careers for us. So somebody who's good in numbers and somebody who's good in music can probably opt for something called sound engineering. Everybody will not go in for sound engineering. Somebody who understands, as I said, tone and pitch and melody better than the others will only get into that. Who are sound engineers? People who are doing, these, who are making big mixers, big machines. You're seeing these live shows that are happening, who are working on audio settings, etc. These are people who are sound engineers. Similarly, you're very good in language skills and your intelligence lies in natural intelligence, which means that you love being outdoors, you love interacting with people, you love nature, you love traveling. Maybe a combination of language and naturalistic intelligence makes you an excellent food blogger, a travel journalist, because we need you to travel, be outdoor, and we need you to write and express yourself very well. So students, it's very important, time and again I'm repeating, for you to understand where you're coming from, what is your intelligence area, and how you can club this intelligence, a different intelligence to make your own stream and career ahead. Similarly, I had spoken about interpersonal intelligence where I spoke about networking. You're very, very good with networking skills. You have a huge group of friends. You network very well, even with the teachers outside school. You know the canteen wala bhaiya and you know the gate wala bhaiya very well, and you can get your work done. Probably you are somebody who can get into things like politics, who can get into things like public speaking, because you have that what we need to do networking. By the way, you can be very good doctors as well, because nobody would like to go to a doctor who does not have very good interpersonal skills. So please understand where you're coming from, who you are, to choose these kind of combinations for yourself, right? So with this, we have covered the intelligence area. I like to move ahead and talk about your studying styles. Now, considering students that one lecture cannot fit everybody, I mean, we are all sitting in one classrooms, but we all have our different study styles, which means somebody likes to make notes in studies, right? Somebody likes to read aloud in study. Somebody likes to, study in complete silence, while others say, ma'am, we need loud music to study. So we're all different people who have different styles. Some are theoretical learners, some learn better in laboratories. Till the time you don't go to a lab and you don't do things with your hands, you can't learn. Now, students, if you are somebody who can learn better in a lab and you have taken humanities, where there is probably no subject to be done in the lab, do you think you can do justice to your studies? I don't know. Maybe you can. I'm asking this question and leaving it there for you to reflect. If you are a person who's very good with numbers and you're taking more language oriented subjects, do you think you will score well? So these are the questions I like you to ask yourselves when you decide your streams. Okay. Moving ahead, I can see a lot of questions have started coming in. So I'm going to move towards the more technical aspect of stream selection, where we are going to be talking about a couple of steps. We've spoken about career exploration. Spoken about assessing ourselves in terms of different streams and subjects. And we're also talking about choosing the right subject combination. Now let's look at, few more things which are very, very important. This is one slide that I really want you to focus on. Students, nobody knows better than you whether you have a math brain or a language brain or something else. So please focus on that. And there are three things that I want you to keep in mind. In today's generation, where we have so many people applying for so many courses and there is so much of competition, it is very important that we have a dream career, we have a definite career, and we have a backup career option. It becomes extremely important we keep these things in mind, because we may not get through a dream career or dream college. In that case, what will come up next is a definite career that we have planned, and probably even a backup career if the other two backfire. So please keep these things in mind. And also, moving ahead, let's look at the streams very closely, because I can see your questions are coming. So we must look at this very closely. So the streams that we're talking about here are science, where we are talking about medical and non-medical. Medical, as you can understand, physics, chemistry, biology is what we're talking about. There are optional subjects depending on the cities or the states that you hail from, the schools that you study in. Similarly, for non-medical, PCM become the main subjects. I haven't mentioned English anyway, because I've already told you that is one mandatory subject which will run common. Okay, I'm going to take a little pause because some questions have come in. Just give me a second to read them. Okay. Okay. I've read your questions, some of them as quickly as I could. I will be answering all these questions in the next 30 minutes, so please do not worry. I am taking you to that portion of stream selection where we will be talking about these questions now. And then, of course, we have commerce and we have arts. So students, let's start with PCM. Initially, we always thought very quickly that the ones who wanted to do engineering were going to take PCM. This was our mindset, we thought, agar engineering karna hai, architecture karna hai, so we have to take PCM. But things have changed now, and they have changed largely. The good news is that even if you don't want to do engineering and you love science, you feel that you can score very well in science, you can still go ahead and do a PCM, because there are multiple options apart from engineering also that you can do under PCM. Similarly, for science, for medicine, If you don't want to be a doctor, but you love biology, I have so many students who come and say this to me, ma'am, we love bio, but we don't want to be doctors. There is a volley of things that is available for you to do. So please do not fear. We will be talking about all that now. Commerce, I have a very simple thing to say to all of you. Commerce students, you know it very well that you are somebody who does not have an aptitude for science, and maybe you do not have interest for humanities, and that is the reason you are doing commerce. If this is your reason for doing commerce, please do a check again that are you comfortable with numbers and with mathematics, because that is going to be present almost in every subject in commerce that you do. And later, whatever entrances that you may be writing, whatever exams that you may be writing, maths is never going to leave you. So please be very, very careful about this aspect of commerce. Then we come down to arts. Arts, of course, is very brilliant because there are a lot of combinations that you can make. You can make a combination which is closer to commerce by choosing maths and economics and English. You can make it closer to liberal arts by taking things like psychology, philosophy, etc. You can stick to hardcore arts as an arts where we talk about geography, history, pol science. So there is a lot that you can do. Now I know there is a lot of confusion also over standard and basic maths, applied maths, etc. So please let me also speak about that here. Students, if you're thinking about PCM, if you're thinking about physical sciences, or you're thinking about something like, I'm sorry, you're thinking about something like math honors, statistics honors, then these are courses where your mathematics becomes mandatory. You cannot apply with an applied mathematics to these particular courses. But otherwise, if you are just wanting to pursue math because you're a commerce student, or you want to take maths along with your humanities, you can opt for applied maths without any fear. And applied maths will give you a lot of opportunity to apply for BCom programs, BBA programs, BCA programs. So you really don't have to worry that will I be able to apply or not. Yes, you will be able to apply. At the same time, understanding that BBA, BCom programs will always focus on very difficult levels of mathematics, I would suggest that if you're planning something like that, then you please stick to the standard mathematics so that you're more prepared for the entrances that may come your way. So these are the few things. If you have more queries on mathematics, I could take that up one-to-one as well. I'm taking a pause to read a couple of questions, please, so that we are in sync. Don't want to go for engineering, but good in physics and maths. Very good. I've scored a 97% in 10th and I want to choose humanities. Is that okay? Can I choose commerce? I'm interested in law. Wonderful students. Your questions are absolutely what I want to hear right now. So I will take a very quick, pause from what I was discussing to say something which should go into your minds and settle there forever. Students, there is no hierarchy of streams. I have said this hundreds and thousands of times in all my sessions, and I'm repeating it again. There is no hierarchy of streams, which means there is no stream 1, stream 2, and stream 3. It is in our minds, it is in the fabric of our society that we believe science is number 1, commerce is number 2, and humanities is number 3. Students, if this was true, our national toppers from a couple of years would not be humanities students. If this was true, students who got a 10 CGPA would not be applying to humanities. They would be taking science and commerce. Schools which did not have humanities sections have larger humanities sections than even science and commerce today. Students who love their time, who want to go abroad to study, who want to work on their profile building, who want to appear for entrance exams after 12, are actually taking humanities because they feel that they will be able to make some time for themselves, which they may not be able to do with science and commerce. So let's stop looking down upon any stream, whether you choose science or you choose humanities. Everything is at par, and the reason is because that stream will take you to your dream college or your dream course, which also means that there is only one best stream, and that is the stream that takes you to your dream college. As simple as that. If humanities or commerce can give you your dream score, your dream college, your dream career, then that is the best stream to take, maybe not science. So please, and I would really urge that you agree with me, because in my, work profile, I meet hundreds of students probably every day. And for the last 10, 15 years, I have been career counseling. And I know the other side of reality. I know that students really do well from all streams. And if your mindset is money, if your mindset is becoming a doctor or an engineer because you will earn a lot of money, I promise you that a lot of subjects and in humanities, in commerce can also lead you there. So a lot of entrepreneurs are earning much more than doctors and engineers. A lot of people who've taken humanities have done their law, maybe their civil services. Probably somebody doing an engineering may not have. So please recheck these belief systems to understand that are you under the influence of any kind of myth? Because if you are, please step out of that. Okay, students, since your queries are increasing and they are more on career specific, stream specific, I'm quickly moving to the specific portions now. Okay, so let's begin with science, because we spoke about science. As we understand, engineering and architecture is something that is very understood. We all know PCM. The moment we take PCM, engineering and architecture is something we can do. Then if when we talk about PCB, of course we're talking about medical science here. And then pure science and research would lie good for both. Now, for those students who ask me, ma'am, I love bio, I love physics, but I don't want to do medicine or engineering, pure science or research is something that we will be talking about for you. This is a stream selection session, students. I cannot discuss careers at length. We can do another session, or we can do a one-to-one counseling for specific session, careers. But I will run you through quickly so that you at least lose your fear that we spoke about in the beginning. I don't want you to be scared कि अगर मैंने engineering नहीं करी and I have taken science, I have nothing else to do. I don't want you to be thinking like that. Okay. Of course, we've not mentioned defense services here, but yes, PCM is also your doorway to defense services. That's also something that you can do. Now, I have mentioned some, specializations through engineering on my screen. But the reason I have mentioned this is because this is all that Indian students know about. The students and the parents who are listening to me today, you will be surprised to know that India alone probably offers around 100 specializations in engineering. But sadly, our children and even as adults, this is all we know. We only know computer, electrical, electronics. We are becoming a little better. So now we know automobile and telecommunication, or maybe aeronautical. But there are 90 more probably that we don't even know about. We're always cribbing about competition in engineering. We're talking about not getting the best colleges because we are not doing enough research. If my child wants to get into space research, wants to get into space technology, then probably I should not even be looking at IITs, because there may be something that ISRO could be offering somewhere. But if I don't know, I will be a part of that rat race like everybody else. That is why I say research is very, very important when we sit down to decide our streams, so we know what are the opportunities ahead. Please take a look. These are those fields of sciences which are becoming relatively more popular nowadays because of whatever is happening around. You can see environmental also put there. Yes, thanks to corona and the various viral attacks that we have, bacterial attacks that we have, very common nowadays. Environmental engineering is something that is, taking up because of plastic causing a lot of cancer. A lot of work is being done into this engineering field because they want to produce plastic or manufacture plastic which is harmless. Similarly, we always have issue with petrol and diesel in the country, so they are wanting to work more towards petrochemical engineering. So a lot of other options that are opening up each day, and by the time you students reach your class 12 or pass out, trust me, there will be at least 20 more opportunities waiting for you. As you know, these are the few important IITs and 3 important other colleges that I've also mentioned, the NIT, IIIT and BITS. Why have I put this on screen is very important to understand. Students, I'm sure out of all of you who are listening to me today, there is nobody who wants to do engineering from a bad college. I wish you were sitting in front of me and I could have, had this discussion one-to-one with you, but you can still use your chat windows if you want to say something. Is there anybody who wants to do engineering from a bad college? Which means that all the lakhs of students who will be writing their engineering exam will be looking at these 16 top colleges. And these 16 top colleges put together are not more than 33,000 or 35,000 seats. Yes, you heard me right. So for the lakhs, 14, 15, 16 lakh students who write their engineering, and everybody wants to get into these top colleges, the seats are somewhere below 50,000. So today, when we are deciding our streams and we feel we are taking PCM because we want to be an engineer and because we want to study engineering from these colleges, it is very important that we have a backup plan, so that I build my stream in a manner, in a fashion that I do not restrict myself. If I don't get into these colleges for engineering, I have a backup plan. I have such subjects through which I can do other multiple courses and I don't harm my career possibilities, right? So moving on, like I said, IIST, I'm just giving you a few examples. This is a department, this is Department of Space, Government of India, right? It's a public sector. They offer a course in space technology, which is through your JEE score. And imagine the direct recruitment happens into ISRO. So anybody who's in love with space, what better than ISRO? But if we don't know these possibilities, how will we apply? Similarly, Triple IT Hyderabad. Just look at the screen. You will be surprised that you don't have to take a PCM to be a part of Triple IT Hyderabad. You can be an art student with maths actually to apply to a course like that. Which means tomorrow you can tell your friends, I'm a pass out of Triple IT Hyderabad, and they will assume that you're a science student and you have done engineering, but you would have actually done something called computational linguistics, which can be opted even through arts and mathematics. So you must know these options, so that even if you don't like PCM and you always dreamt to be a part of something like a triple IT, you know that the possibility still exists. And on the screen is something very important that I can't miss out, is the next big explosion into artificial intelligence, big data, machine learning, robotics, cyber security, nanotechnology, etc. I hope that parents are with me in this session today, because students and parents, I like to draw your attention to something very, very important. We are sitting in a very vulnerable position right now. In 2020, I don't know that in the next 10 years, what are the 10 most popular jobs that are going to be available? What are those new 10 career opportunities which will come up maybe by 2025 or 2030? I don't even know that today. What am I really preparing for? For all you know, the next big career may actually be teaching. Yes, you heard me right. Why? Because with the online classes that are going on, with the fear of schools not reopening soon, maybe people start looking at teaching with a very different perspective. Maybe teaching is here to stay. Maybe IT, software, computer science is the next big thing, because everything is going to be based on technology. Maybe artificial intelligence becomes extremely important, because sales and marketing will also happen through artificial intelligence. So you have to start thinking 10 years ahead when you decide on your streams now, because we can't think of the conventional streams that have happened. So parents, if you have a particular stream in mind, if you have a particular career in mind for your child, and your child actually reaches that career, I will not say that it is your success, I will say it is your failure. Yes, you heard me right. Why? Because sitting here in 2020 as parents, we don't know what is that next big career. So your child may only reach what we know today, may not reach what is important for 2025 or 2030 or for his life ahead. So we have to start planning for 10 or 20 years ahead now when we decide our streams today, which means that probably computer sciences suddenly becomes very important, language becomes very important, right? Moving on is architecture, of course, something that is promising, has been going on for a very long time, is applicable through PCB. One important thing that you must know is that architecture is not going to be possible through commerce and humanities anymore. Okay, so if you have to do like before, a couple of years back, it was, this year there has been a change. So if you want to do architecture, you have to think of PCM, right? Yes, it will always remain a very promising career opportunity. Not too many children go in for architecture. Children who have that bent, who have that creative bent, who have that thought process will go in for architecture. If you feel that you come from a family of architects, maybe this is a great aspect for you. Moving to PCB, your medical sciences. Please take a look at the screen. Yes, we talk about MBBS largely, but I want you to think of bachelors of Ayurveda, of Unani, of homeopathy, of vocational sciences, because as we can see, we are going back to our roots. Today, each one of us is looking for a better doctor, when we talk about allopathy or homeopathy, we are moving away from allopathy to reach these places. So students, I want you to keep exploring these opportunities also. Dentistry, and especially with ortho dentistry coming up, dentistry is also a huge field which has a lot of career opportunities. Nursing is available, paramedical is available. Then of course, occupational therapy. It is very sad, but a lot of cases of cerebral palsy, autism, mental disabilities are coming up, because of which occupational therapy, psychology, psychiatry, these kind of sciences are also growing in demand. Then, of course, I could not have not mentioned microbiology and virology sitting in Corona times. As I said, the next big career could also be microbiology or virology, or maybe somebody could be studying, pandemics or epidemics. By the way, that is a science and it is available for studies, for education purposes. That may be the next big thing, considering that, this is the kind of outbreaks that are happening in the world. So obviously, there are a lot of job opportunities in these sectors as well. Okay, now I have already questions are going on. What should we study for? Artificial intelligence, cybersecurity. Right. So, students, like I said, computer science is the core. PCM will be a safer bet for artificial intelligences. Though I feel in coming times there may be some certain courses which may root out of humanities and commerce as well. But I still feel science will be the core requirement for artificial sciences, etc. Cybersecurity is more stream neutral depending on what kind of portion of cybersecurity are you picking up. All right. Somebody said, ma'am, I don't like maths, so I'm thinking of medicine. Well, that's fair enough, because if you're thinking of medicine, you do not need mathematics. Students who are thinking of PCMB, a lot of you must be thinking, ma'am, I should take a combination because it will multiply my opportunity. Do not forget, it will multiply your stress also. You do not need bio for engineering. You do not need maths for medicine. Then why are you increasing your stress today? Please be very careful about what you choose, students, because it is going to be a plate full. Even a PCM or a PCB is enough to stress you. Are you sure you want to keep an additional subject? What about those who are thinking of a PCM economics? Again, I will say the difficulty level will increase. So are you somebody who can sit down and study for 2-3 hours, 4 hours every day? If yes, then maybe a PCMB or a PCME may be a good option. Now, here I would also like to tell students that why are these combinations coming? Why is economics being added to science? Why is psychology being added to commerce? Why is economics and maths being added to humanities? So please understand, students, again, a very important thing I'm telling you. If you are a science student and after 12th you realize science leke galti ho gayi, I shouldn't have taken science, and you want to swap your stream to commerce or humanities, you will actually have to go through a deduction of 5%, for changing your stream. Because the moment you leave science and you take commerce or humanities, you actually take away the seat of a commerce or a humanities student. So you will have to go through a deduction. So please be very careful right now. Similarly, students who are taking humanities, if you feel that you may want to take a BCom or an economics honors, you may take an economics and a math combination so that you are at par with commerce when you apply to your courses. It's a very sensible decision to take. Also, you may not like all humanities subjects, so you may like to make a combination for yourself. So it is not a bad idea. Students who are not very comfortable with mathematics, putting subjects like computer science or psychology with commerce can be your savior, because it opens your door to a newer field like computer science or psychology as well, right? So moving on very quickly, this is what we're discussing on PCB. But the colleges that can be taken up later, probably in the next session. This is very important that I want to show you. Now, my students who said, ma'am, I love physics, I love chemistry, but I don't want to do engineering. Students, please take a quick look at what all you can do even if you don't do engineering. Astrophysics, astronomy, biophysics, fluid physics, geophysics, molecular physics, and much more. I will keep showing you slides that you can do even after doing physics and not doing engineering. Chemistry, similarly. Please take a look. Pure mathematics, all right? Let me show you more. You can look at agriculture, you can look at biochemistry, you can look at bioinformatics, and they have subfields, so many subfields like you can see on the slide. Agriculture, genetics, like you can see there. is the next big thing, because there is so much research that is happening into agriculture nowadays. Look at genetics with mutation, cancer, study on stem cells. There is so much that is happening in cell biology and genetics that can get into research. Similarly, architecture and computational genomes. These are areas that are so new to you, but all this is possible. Okay. Moving on, I'm seeing your questions. I will keep taking them up. Somebody's asked me, what about BCA? Yes, there are a lot of colleges which will give you BCA only if you have PCM. But that does not mean that you can't do BCA if you are not a science background student. You can still do BCA from colleges which do not ask for a mandatory PCM. All right, students, so it totally depends on the college that you will be applying to. So if you have a college in mind, I would suggest please take a look at their eligibility criteria to understand what subject you should take. Moving ahead, you even have biotechnology and botany as different specializations if you don't want to go for a regular medicine or an engineering. Genetic engineering, tissue culture, rational drug design, cytology, plant anatomy, forestry, so many different careers that people are already working into and we don't even know, students. These are all your options, even if you don't do what is conventional. I can keep, showing you there is so much that you can do, but I have limited time. So just giving you a quick idea. Under life sciences also, you can take a look. There is so much that can be possible, right? Quickly moving to commerce, because I know my commerce students are waiting. Students, I'll take a little pause. If you can see, every slide has a couple of numbers put there. There are two numbers. You can note them down, and you can, being a Sunday, probably you can just leave your name and details. The team will get in touch with you between Monday and Saturday. We'll start, booking your sessions if you want to talk to us one-to-one, or you want to take a psychometric test, or you want a counseling with me or the experts. You can please reach out to me. The ones who missed my name, I'm Neha. Neha Vahi. You can reach out to us for any queries, students. We will be happy to help you. Moving on to commerce. Yes, commerce is largely known for the academic programs like BCom honors, economics honors, math honors, statistics honors, and it is also known for the vocational programs like Bachelor's of Business Administration, Bachelor's of Business Management, Business Studies, Business Economics, and Finance, Investment, and Accounting. So if you are somebody who wants to get into entrepreneurship, if you want to be a chartered accountant, you want to get into CFA, or you want to get into actuarial sciences, investment, finance management, portfolio management, wealth management, stock exchange, these are the things that interest you. Numbers interest you. You're not scared of calculations. Then commerce is your game, right? The top colleges all across India, there may be many more, but I'm just showing you the top five. And as you can see, out of these top five, two are actually girls' colleges. So the girl students who are attending this, you can enjoy looking at this slide. Uh, Also, this reminds me of a very important thing. There are different quotas and different categories because all of you hail from different cities. I must mention this. Please read into the quotas and categories, because there are colleges which actually give a 1% off to a girl student. There are colleges which give you 1 or a 2.5% off if you are doing the regional language of that particular state or city. Also, please understand, if you have studied a particular subject in 11th and 12th, for example, you have studied psychology in 11th and 12th, and you want to apply for psychology honors in Delhi University, you will actually get a 2.5% bonus, which means you have scored an 88%. You can apply at a 90.5 by putting psychology in the best of four, and that is mandatory. So whichever subject you apply for an honors in has to go into the best of four. So please do this kind of research so that you can enjoy these bonus clauses and not get into penalty clauses, because there are penalty clauses also. So please do keep reading. What else? A lot of queries come to me. Ma'am, we love economics, but we don't know what to do after economics. Here you go, my children. There is so much that you can do after economics, as you can see, from a financial analyst to being an economist, to get into health policies, transportational planners, underwriters, credit analysts. There is so much of specialization that is available under economics, and a very brilliant subject to take. Yes, for economics honors, math is compulsory, and that to your standard mathematics is preferred. So kindly though applied mathematics can also be taken, students, but please understand that it is very important that tomorrow there is no sudden change and you are not suffering, because there are few colleges which say if you don't have maths you can't even apply for economics. So please be very careful. As I said, please research on colleges that you want to apply before you finalize your subject or your stream combinations. Moving on, I've already addressed this. Your questions are coming in as to whether you can do law and you can do fashion design after commerce. Yes, there are certain stream neutral courses as well, like law, like management courses, like animation, like hotel management, like psychology, like law. These are all programs that are stream neutral and you can apply to them even if you are not from a particular stream. So you're open because there are entrances that one has to write for all these. Chartered accountant, of course, these are the various opportunities that you have after doing your chartered accountancy. Company secretaryship is also a very interesting, career opportunity that roots out of commerce. Then, of course, actuarial sciences, the next big thing. A lot of students are doing actuarial. You have to write about 15 papers. There is an actuarial sciences institute. It's a different body, different from your universities, your state universities. You have to write these examinations. But once you do, you can sign as an actuary, and it is a very well-paying job opportunity, students. And a lot of children even go abroad actually to study this, okay? Then chartered financial analyst, you can again get into, like I said, portfolio management, wealth planning, etc. if you're looking at commerce. And these are some basic functions. You can get into accounting, auditing, finance, stockbroking, taxation, insurance, banking, etc. if you are students of commerce, right? Again, I will humbly request, if you are not very well versed with mathematics, you do not enjoy mathematics, it is better to go in for a humanities or a PCB rather than thinking of commerce. Not even PCB really, because then you will again be stuck with the physics and chemistry. Yes, humanities will be a safer bet for you. Do not push yourself, because whatever maths you have studied till class 10 and the math that you will study in 11th and 12th will be very difficult and very different. So if you are struggling with maths already, then maybe taking maths may not be a very good option. Moving ahead, I'm getting into humanities, the most looked down upon stream, but one of my personal favorites, because I've seen students shine after they have done, arts. Under history alone, you can see that there is so much that you can do, as I have already mentioned there. If I was just to isolate history as a subject, there is so much that you can do. Okay, I'm reading your messages. What to do for law? For law, as I told you, it is a stream neutral combination. Can be, course. Any stream can apply to law. Though it is better if you do humanities, because you will get more time for preparing for your law entrance. Commerce is equally promising, and we see a lot of science students opt for law every year as well. I'm not passionate about anything. What should I do? The first thing you should do is please take a psychometric test to help us understand you better and guide you on this. What about PCM with computer science? Yes, that's a great idea. Why not? It opens your part to data sciences, to big data, machine learning, cybersecurity, everything, right? Coming back, sorry, I'm taking a few questions in between. I don't want to lose out on any questions. Political science. Whoever thought that a subject like pol science can actually open your opportunities to such wonderful careers? Please take a look for being diplomats, for being custom officers, foreign service officers, to get into something called psephology. Do you know what is psephology? I will tell you what is psephology. So you see that whenever elections are close or elections are going around, you see that a lot of discussions are happening on TV, where there are these multiple windows, and specialists are discussing on poll and on voting and on elections, and there are a lot of discussion that's happening. Who are these people? Who are these experts who are discussing on elections? These are psephologists. Yes, there is actually a career that is called psephology that roots out of political science, right? Moving ahead, what are the kind of organizations that pick you up? Please, you must look at it, because you will not look down upon humanities or the subjects under humanities after you see this. World Bank, United Nations, IMF, World Trade Organization, by the way, McKinsey, Bain Consulting, Price Waterhouse Coopers, everybody will give you placements. Even if you're not a humanities student, a commerce student, even then you will be placed in these wonderful places into defense intelligence agencies, NCB, RAW. Everything is available to you if you do your political science honors, right? So please do take a good look and rethink. What about geography? Another subject children run away from, but you must see the kind of opportunities available in geography. Please keep reading the slide while I look at some of your questions. Okay. Okay, you're talking about students are talking about graphic design. Yes. Again, I will say stream neutral. Don't worry if you haven't made it to PCM and those cutoffs. You can still consider graphic design. You can get to us one to one to understand how. Yes, please keep writing in, students. I am reading your questions. Coming back to geography, political geography, physical geographer, community planner. These are something a geography student does. Apart from which, you have more options as well under geography. Environmental planning, weather forecasting. And please look at organizations who hire you. Defense and military organizations, shipping companies, Google Maps, Wikipedias, I'm sorry, Wikimaps, Bing Maps, public health organizations, companies that work into journals, into Atlas Publishing, media companies, all of these will be able to hire you if you do your geography honors. And I must quote share something very interesting. I'm sure most of you have seen the movie Bahubali, the 1 and 2 sequels. Two, just to educate you, when Bahubali was being made, they actually hired geography graduates to help them make that movie because they wanted to find out what kind of locations to shoot, how that waterfall can be created, where that waterfall can be created, visual arts, how they can be put. So a lot of people work together in the back end to create such things which we are not aware of. So these career opportunities open up after these subjects. Something very interesting after humanities, psychology and counseling. Yes, I've only mentioned a few because there are so many that they couldn't fit a slide. Under psychology, there are multiple opportunities that are available with you. Psychology can be studied with science, with commerce, with humanities. Please go ahead and choose. And with the kind of depression that the world is getting into, with the kind of problems that are happening, the mental illness that is happening, psychology also is a very promising field, whether you take to psychiatry, where you can prescribe medicine, or you take to psychology, where you can do therapies and counsel. So these are some very good institutes that are offering the programs for psychology as well in under the undergraduate level. Then of course we're talking about anthropology as a career opportunity under humanities. We're talking about different languages that you can do. Yes, as we know, the world is rolled into a small globe, and different embassies, UN, etc. They're hiring people who know good languages, who understand, who can work as translators, who can work with MNCs, who work into different countries. There are multiple opportunities that actually open up for you, even under language. I'm going to take a quick pause after doing this because I know that we are exceeding the time and there may be a lot of questions. Social work also would fall under the category of humanities. And by the way, there are courses that you can do from esteemed universities like Tata Institute of Social Sciences, Jamia Millia, Madras School of Social Work, and get into very well paying jobs in social work as well.